Welcome to the J Squared Horror Podcast, where two lifelong horror fans talk all things horror. Pour yourself your favorite drink and hang out. Here are your hosts, Josh and Jake.
Hey guys, welcome to the J Squared Horror Podcast. I'm Josh.
And I'm Jake.
And on today's episode, we are going to be discussing
2023's Scream 6, directed by Radio Silence.
Radio Silence. It's multiple directors, so there's no point in saying all the names.
Yeah, they're all part of it.
Before we get into the episode, what would we like to let anyone new to the channel know?
As always, like and subscribe on YouTube.
Pretty please.
You can also find us on Spotify, Apple,
Mm-hmm.
Google, and on Instagram.
Yep.
J Squared Horror Podcast, link tree in the bio. New episode every Thursday.
Every Thursday, two lifelong horror fans decide to get together and talk all things horror. With this podcast, we'd like to open up a line of communication between all styles of horror fans. With this podcast, we like to bring different themes, different movies, different episodes about nothing. If you guys are interested on being a part of the podcast, you can go to www.jsquaredhorrorpodcast.com. You can submit anything. If you're a director, if you're a producer, if you're an actor, if you're a fan, you have an episode idea, you have a theme you want us to cover, you have a list of movies you want us to go through and see if we want to cover, go there, send us an email. We'll get to it. We'll talk about it. We'll go over it. What you can also find in the link tree in our bio is paranormalitymagazine.com. Paranormalitymagazine.com or Paranormality Magazine is an up-and-coming magazine about all things strange, unusual, and paranormal. If you use code J2Horror at checkout, you will get 10% off of your purchase. And for this month and this month only, when you use that code, they will send you a free t-shirt. I have been popping that t-shirt up on the YouTube videos in between us, and you get to see what it looks like, but you can also buy magazines and t-shirts directly from there. And the code again is J2Horror at checkout for 10% off. So, with all of that fun stuff out of the way, Scream 6 is a fun movie. If you haven't seen it yet, just a heads up, obviously this is going to be spoilers. If you know anything about the J Squared Horror Podcast, we do not wait for you to watch it. We just tell you all about it. We've done this a time or two throughout the podcast, including Scream 5 when it came out last year. We are finally finishing up our Scream, basically, month. We went through 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're on to 6. We are ready to be beyond this, to do some more fun stuff with the podcast. But we're here talking about Scream 6. So if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want to know any spoilers, you might not want to watch this one yet. Or you can hear our opinions on it and then go see it based off of what we're saying.
Yeah.
Either which is fine. So Scream 6 is fun. It is exciting. It did very, very well for a horror movie and just a movie in general. It was number one in the box office this weekend. I think it did roughly like $40.6 million, which is a great opening.
Yeah.
It beat out Creed 3, which was like $28 million, which is insane. I thought that movie was going to have way more.
Yeah.
But it did, and people were excited. Hell, when we got to the movie theater last Thursday, it was a line at the concession stand all the way to the door because they were giving away Scream stuff, which we found out once we sat down.
Yeah.
But Scream 6 is the newest entry into the Ghostface franchise. And by newest entry, you know, we'll get into that. It's based in New York. And
love that.
Yeah, Jake was super duper excited about that. But the one thing it does not miss out on is the opening sequence.
Which is always the best part of any Scream movie.
If you know Scream movies, you know they always do something wild with their opens, and this one doesn't miss at all. It is a little shocking because of what happens right after, but you have Samara Weaving, who has very much put herself into the horror realm multiple times, and she is a teacher of
film study,
and her favorite is slashers, of course. You know that's going to be a thing. And she is on a date or trying to start a date what am I saying?
Waiting for her date.
Waiting for her
She's
date.
still on the date.
She's at the date without the other person there. Answers the phone call, and you immediately start thinking, "Ooh, what is going to happen to Miss Samara Weaving?" Well,
so the good thing about that was, I liked that at first it didn't start out immediately with
the Ghostface voice.
Ghostface voice.
Yep.
You get some conversation, you get a little background about her.
He's just lost. He can't find this super hip place that they decided to go to.
But I knew once he got her outside.
Yeah.
That was it.
Survival instinct 0, even though she studied horror movies.
Which he brings up.
And and it's funny. And you got it's got to be around Halloween time because there are other people dressed up.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was cool. I think this is the first one.
Yeah, I wish they would have mentioned that more, though.
Yeah, they didn't really.
Yeah. You just could
Yeah,
figure
you're right.
it out.
Yeah, you just kind of
People
There's
in
a bunch
costumes.
of people dressed up. It's got to be around Halloween. So you're doing a lot of service to us horror folk because we love horror movies during the Halloween time.
Very true.
So this is going to become one of those movies that is going to be watched in October for like the rest of my life. Because a lot of it is fun. You get to see a bunch of different masks. You can pick out like different Easter eggs or different moments from different things.
Yeah.
But she ultimately gets lured. Is that a word? Lured, yeah.
Lured?
And
That's one of them.
into an alleyway where she finds her demise. And it starts off with a great, 5, you had the Jenna Ortega scene, which was really good. This one's right up there with it, not as intense as far as like longevity of it, but she gets got.
I think it's the dialogue is so good.
The dialogue is very good.
Yeah.
And then the shocking thing is the mask immediately comes off.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? This isn't Ghostface.
Who the fuck is this dude?
So yeah, it's definitely a new entry to the opening sequence.
Yeah, which to me immediately thought this guy has to die.
Yeah, you knew he wasn't going to make it very long.
Kill her that quick.
Yeah, and it's the dude from I know he's in Spider-Man's. He's in the Spider-Man. Yeah, Spider-Man franchise.
And I love that when he gets home, he puts on one of, if not the greatest New York themed horror movies ever.
Yeah, which is
probably the greatest. Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan.
It's on. And so you find out real quickly that they are students of this teacher. Well, I don't know why you'd want to kill that teacher. She seemed pretty cool.
It's like about the same age, which is kind of weird, but whatever.
No, but she's older. Like Samara Weaving is older than them, I'm pretty sure. I think she's like in her close to 30.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think he's probably around like 24, 25, so
All right.
possible. But it's a movie magic.
That's true. It doesn't really matter per se, but I noticed it.
Yeah, you find out that their ultimate goal is to then get Tara, and they actually have a brief moment where Tara and the killer cross paths.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, you going to this Sigma Phi Pi Thai party? And he's like, yeah, probably not. Maybe. Is your sister going to be there? Oh, probably not. She doesn't go to those stupid things. So you immediately see Tara, and it looks like she is completely past everything that happened to her in Woodsboro.
Yeah.
She's being a kid in college. She's going to parties. She's dressed as like a little pirate.
Living life. And
then he goes home and is looking for his roommate who's part of the killing plan. And then you get Ghostface, which was cool. The whole time he's thinking it's his buddy playing a prank on him. Didn't read the room very well.
No.
And, just something about that ghost-faced voice just does something. And when you get the longevity of those dialogue moments, it is enjoyable.
It is
like
really.
every bit of those conversations are fun because now you have a super Stab fan talking to it's an interesting thing to watch because you're like, you dummy, you're not as big as a fan as you think because you're about to get got. And he plays the hot and cold. So they even changed the game in this one. It's not what's your favorite scary movie. It's can you find me?
Yeah.
And he plays that hot and cold game. So it's like, warmer, colder. If you're closer you get, the further you get. And that was cool because it really adds some spooky value to it because as you're sitting there, you've already pretty much assumed, okay, he's dealing with the real Ghostface because his games are unbeatable.
Yeah.
Gets warmer, fridge, his buddy's in there, and then he gets killed. And I think that's when the movie thing comes up, is after Ghostface actually kills.
Yeah.
Because it's always a thing.
Yeah.
You'll slash down and then you get the Scream poster.
Yeah.
Or the
title card.
Title card, yeah. And then you get into the movie. And, that was just walking through the beginning. I enjoyed the beginning a lot. How did you feel it compared to some of the other ones?
I think as far as opening scenes, to me, it's probably my third favorite.
Third?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really like the original.
Of course.
Part 2 is really good. The movie theater, that was really good.
Yeah. So,
then,
3.
And then this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually
I like part 5.
No, yeah, part 5 was cool, but
to me, it's slightly better.
Yeah, well, the part 5 is basically just one.
True.
Again, minus she doesn't die.
Yeah.
So I actually would 100% agree with your list there. I think you're right on the money. 1, 2, 6.
Yeah.
Because 2's is just crazy. And, it's funny because I saw a lot of stuff online. There's like this funny Will Ferrell, like, I'm so fucking scared right now thing that's like going on TikTok. And it's like going to the Scream theater, seeing all these Ghostface sitting around thinking about the Scream 2 opening. And you're just like, I'm so fucking scared right now. It was just like it's so crazy to see that like Scream, which 96, we were kids when it originally came out, which you guys have heard us talk about all the movies. But it was really, really cool to be a part. I don't think 5 had the hype that 6 did.
No.
It didn't. Jenna Ortega's huge right now.
Yeah.
And they did a very good job. I think they timed it out very well. Wasn't a very long time in between. Wasn't too short of a time in between. And I feel like, obviously the numbers are speaking for this, but there was an excitement for this movie that was really cool to see as an older fan.
Yeah.
Because we're in the theater. To Jake's left were like 3 10-year-olds or like 12-year-olds.
Yeah, they're
girls.
Pretty young.
And I made a funny joke to Jake. I was like, yeah, see, we're going to get Jenna Ortega fans in here that aren't prepared for what's about to happen. But it was cool because, like, to my right was a dude probably 10, 15 years older than me with his kid. It's just crazy to see. And, like, I might not have looked around so much during the Halloween one because, like, I was a douche. And I didn't care that anybody else wanted to see my movie. But it was cool to be a part of this Scream thing, seeing all the posters, seeing all the stuff that people, almost every other person I looked at in the theater had some type of swag on. Whether it was a t-shirt, jacket, hat, carrying around a poster. It was really, really cool to see.
Yes, Scream's really big in pop culture.
It's a pop culture thing, and you can tell because it's in front of you, all the different age groups from, like I said, dude that's 15 years older than us and kids that are 15 years younger than us.
Yeah.
It's great because if you just looked at our 5 seats, it was like this is like the coolest thing in the world to be a part of. And then you have us 2 dorks just sitting there laughing throughout the majority of this movie.
I was amped up with the Jason thing. Like,
yeah, Jake was fucking hype. We didn't even get popcorn because the line was so long, so we just had to sit there and talk. This is going to sound kind of fucked up, but this movie it does give you an opportunity to kind of chuckle and like not chat, but like say real quick things to your friend. It's not overly serious. It's very much in the Scream feel, and it's way more brutal, and it's I would say scarier to a certain group of people. This movie is not scary. No. It's not something that's like Smile or like something that like is gonna make you jump a bunch, because if you've seen all the Scream movies, they're basically cookie cutters.
They're the exact same thing.
They are, as far as like what Ghostface usually do. And like I said, since 5 and 6, they have ramped up like how strong and like not as goofy as he used to be.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite version of Ghostface.
Yeah, so like the killer you're seeing throughout this movie is just intense.
Yeah.
So you get past the opening stuff, and then you start to see Sam, and she is this, followed her sister to college with her, obviously super protective. She has a moment with her therapist that was really funny, because he's like, I need you to be honest with me. I need you to tell me what happened. Then she just opens up like a book, and he immediately is like, I gotta go. Like, this is above my... And she's like, what? You told me to be... He's like, I'm not capable of handling a situation like this.
Yeah, be not that honest.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. And it was...
Yeah, you got to hide something.
It was funny, but very truthful to see. I don't know if anybody here has been through like therapy or anything like that, but sometimes that's what it feels like. Like they just don't get it. That doesn't mean don't reach out for help, but it was a comical way of keeping the movie a little bit more lighthearted, I'd say, because Scream movies aren't supposed to be overly deep, highbrow, if you will. Horror films.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Sarah Carpenter. What's her name?
Sam.
Sam character.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Sam. And I thought it was cool what they did with this movie is they made so you know how we always say pop culture and like what's going on in the world and like they use that to Scream invest. So like Scream 4, they used like webcams and like just getting the internet started. But now you see in 6 what the internet can actually do to somebody. So they had twisted Sam's character into being the killer that blamed Richie and what was her name? Amber, that she framed them and got away with it because she is the daughter of Billy Loomis.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool because like we all know because we watched the movie like she wasn't a killer, but that's what the internet and social media can do to people. It can ruin them. And she's now dealing with that. Like after they find out that somebody got killed nearby, she tries to go get Tara from the party, and that's a whole scene where you see like how some people handle their trauma versus others. Mm-hmm. So they are sprinkling in some real stuff, but then you see her friends immediately stand up for her. So you got Chad, you got Mindy, and it's just cool because like they really have her back no matter how much she's fighting it. You'll see later on she like thanks them for it, but at the moment she's like, screw you guys, I want to do what I want to do because I just don't want to be in the current moment. And anybody that's dealing trauma can relate with that. So it's weird how this movie was able to sprinkle in so much of that, but not make it like bleh, like in your face, like deep stuff. And I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it's not overpowering, but they mentioned it towards the end about it's not enough to just kill someone.
Yeah.
You have to assassinate their character first.
Yes.
Which is crazy. That's kind of things are now.
That is how things are now. So they do use what goes on in the world in these movies because cancel culture. And I'm not saying that certain people that have been canceled haven't deserved it, but there are some others that like, just move on, please. And we worry about it every time we turn on the microphones, you know? I mean, we don't like have pep talks or anything, but there are certain things we'll never cover, and there's certain things that we know better than to talk about.
Yeah, you don't get up here and say some dumb shit.
Yeah, you don't. And I don't think either one of us are very much towards being that anti like certain stuff, but you never know. I mean, we've made some some funny jokes in our time that hopefully just stay there. But
you guys never hear ever again.
But it is cool how they did that. But then you have the sister dynamic of she's just like, leave me alone, let me deal with this the way I want. And Sam's just like, I'm sorry, but like I thought like I was doing something good.
You're not.
You're being overbearing. You're being overprotective. She's like, I didn't see you for 5 years before Woodsboro, and now you won't leave my hip.
Yeah.
And it's cool. Once again, sprinkled in there, real quick argument, not super long dialogue, blah, blah, blah. And then these girls walk past Sam, and they throw a drink on him like, you're the real killer, da-da-da. And she gets real feisty, which is used against her later.
Because she's a killer.
Because she's the murderer.
Yeah.
And she did kill Richie. So that's a fact. Like, she killed Richie.
Yeah, you are a murderer.
But it was in self-defense. So, but they twisted the narrative as her being the Ghostface from 5, which, you know, that's what the internet will do. Then, this movie, you got to think, we've already talked about a kill. Well, 3 kills already out the gate. We're already 3 kills in. 1 was off screen, 2 were on screen.
Yeah.
So this movie and this stuff that's happening is maybe 10, 15 minutes of just like, okay, you're seeing where everybody's at. You've seen Chad, you've seen Mindy, you've seen Tara, you've seen Sam. And it's like, all right, the movie had a really good pace.
Yeah, the movie had a good pace. There were never, to me, any real dull moments.
No real dull moments. Because even in the moments where they're like trying to come up with the plan, like once they all get back to the apartment, and they're like trying to figure it out, and they're going through all that, like it still fits. It's still fine.
Yeah,
like
it's not drawn out.
It's not drawn out. And I think, you know, it's Scream 101 to kind of do the same thing in every movie. They've done it since the beginning of the franchise. But we'll get into that towards the end. Our feelings on that. But then you have so you weren't as big a fan of Mindy in this movie.
No.
And is it because of that part in the apartment where she's just like overlandishly like explaining the situation?
Yeah. So Mindy, I feel like she was too over the top. She was too quick to accuse people.
But that's been Scream thing since the beginning of time.
I know, but it's different when so with Randy, it's him giving you the rules.
Always.
You know, everyone's a suspect.
Yeah.
You know, but not everyone's not really a suspect. Some people you can assume it's not the killer.
Yeah.
So with her whole thing was she accused everyone. And that was my problem with all of them.
Yeah.
At every point, they didn't know who to trust. Kind of like, dude, what?
Core 4.
Yeah, Core 4. All of a sudden, you're turning on each other. And later in the movie, when they're about to reveal who the Ghostfaces are,
yeah,
Sam says, Mindy? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's your first guess?
Yeah.
The Core 4?
Yeah.
A part of that.
But I did think it was really funny because the Core 4, like, basically alibied themselves. But then the other 3 were like, oh, hold on.
Yeah.
They were like, nah, this doesn't go by the normal rules because this isn't a normal movie. Like, any which one of y'all could be the killer, too. And I thought that was cool.
She's like, well, if we're suspects.
Because I think it was Mindy's girlfriend that really chimed off.
Yeah.
Yeah, she really popped up. And then the roommate
was like, well, what's to say if one of y'all didn't snap because of trauma?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, one of you were the killer.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was super cool because usually you're not blaming the, it's always Gail, Sydney, and Dewey. Yeah. But now it's a completely different dynamic.
Yeah. It's like, okay, we don't know you. You don't know us that well.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a killer. You can be a killer too.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you get, so obviously there's always going to be a love interest. So there's a guy across the way that you find out that Sam's kind of hooking up with.
Who was a good dude.
They don't make him out to be that way throughout the entire movie.
You know what's so crazy? I never
suspected him.
Yeah.
I knew that they couldn't do it again.
Yeah.
But also, that wouldn't have made sense because he was legitimately across the way trying to warn. And of course, you've seen that before with the multiple killer theory. But it just didn't make sense because she did keep him so hidden.
Yeah.
Like Richie was brought right in.
Yeah, immediately.
And she didn't want that with him.
Yeah.
But then you get the apartment scene, which was crazy. I don't necessarily remember how. Oh, it was the roommate who always had guys over. She was, what did she say she was? She was like sex positive or something. Yeah, sex positive instead of being a whatever they said. Yeah. But she always had guys over, so they're hearing what they think are pleasure noises, and they're all sitting there talking, and they realize like, oh shit, this isn't the case. And they run in there and, Ghostface is Ghostfacing. Or she popped out of the room like bloody. What happened?
Yeah, so she's on the phone first.
Yeah.
Talking to her dad.
Yeah.
Ghostface is in there. Homeboy across the street sees him trying to call.
Oh, that's right.
Sam didn't answer her fucking phone.
Because she didn't want to.
We're all playing and joking. They know about him now.
Yeah.
Answer the phone.
Yeah.
Anyway, the dude starts talking in the bathroom. Ghostface just goes and just kills him.
Yeah, immediately.
And then the roommate does come out of the room all bloody and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, like, dude, so.
What I liked right after that is when Ghostface comes out and he looks at Mindy, he looks at her like, I'm about to fuck you up.
Yeah. And she gets caught in the arm, which is a Scream 101. She's now the killer.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
She gets a good slice in the arm. But the one thing I will say about this is she at least makes it seem like it really hurt her. Versus just like a quick boo-boo.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into some of that.
Pouring blood.
We'll get into that. Yeah, the blood in this movie was very good. And
a lot of it.
The gore in this movie was very intense.
Yeah.
We're leading up to one of my favorite kills where they're all trying to escape and they kind of got Ghostface kind of stuck outside of the room. And I think it was Chad and Tara escaped out the front door.
Gone.
And they were all trying to get to the Sam's boyfriend's across the building. It's another building. So he has a telescoping ladder perfectly positioned for this moment. And he pops that bad boy across the way, sends Sam over, and then Mindy and her girlfriend are having this, like, because Mindy's girlfriend got stabbed. Forgot to mention that. She got up. Yeah, she got poked a couple of times.
Got her in the stomach, turned it, pulled up.
So
she was going to die.
She was going to die, but they had hope. So they tried to send her across. She said, I can't do it. So then Mindy went, and she's about halfway. And then Ghostface just started shaking the other side of it, which I knew that had to happen. Like, Ghostface isn't going to crawl out there.
Yeah,
that's not
his
way to
style.
Get him. Yeah. You got to do the shake, and it's intense. Like, she gets pretty close, and then Sam even gets a hand on her, and then he just gets it. But then it's not like she falls, and then that's it. She falls, and everybody's like crying and upset. But then she bashes her face on a dumpster.
Yeah.
And it shows it. It's not one for the faint of heart if you can't handle falls.
In my opinion, if you're in that situation and someone keeps saying, I can't. Okay, I'm going to pull this ladder back over.
Yeah.
We're going to get out of here.
Yeah.
We can't wait for you.
You can't.
It's
But
like, I can't. I don't want to die. Then get the fuck over this ladder then.
yeah.
Get over here.
And then you got the girls are running out for help, I guess. I might be missing some stuff. Wasn't the bodega scene next?
Who knows? Was that before? No, that's after.
It has to be after, right? No, that's fucking before.
It might be.
It is before. Damn. Because the cop, yeah, fuck.
Yeah, because they find the
they find the
bodies.
mask.
Yeah.
Well, the bodega scene is cool. It's when Tara and Sam are they're running from a Ghostface, and they go into a store, a bodega, and this is the most tactical Ghostface ever. Hey, he walks in the place, and people are like, "Hey, you should stop!" And he just starts stabbing people, random people, completely bystanders. It's in New York, so you knew that this was a possibility with Ghostface. It's not just going to be the regular style. So he's just getting people left and right, and then he gets a hold of a shotgun. And they're hiding, and he's doing, and it's just very he's menacing and scary, and it's a ghost. He's usually not that put together. He's usually just running around flailing his arms.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see that. So that was a top scene of mine. But so obviously then after that you got the subway.
So the subway scene.
How did you feel about the subway?
You see
scene?
It in the trailer. Or
Yeah.
whatever. Kind of like the bodega scene, but
well, see, I didn't know any of that. So one of the complaints that I heard from a bunch of people online was that the trailer showed too much, and I was like, "Ha suckers!"
Showed too much.
I didn't watch it because you knew where all the main stuff was happening. You knew about the bodega, you knew about the Ghostface memorial, you knew about
the bodega scene wasn't long enough to where it's like or important enough for man, this ruins the mood type of thing. Yeah, you know what's going to happen, but with the subway scene. I did like that because the trailer gives off like they're all on the same train.
Yeah. Because even in the little short one I saw, but I thought the same thing.
Yeah, but once you see,
because when they get separated because Mindy got stuck in the crowd.
Yeah, which was her fault, taking too long.
Yeah,
dude,
she gets stuck with the other random.
You lived in New York long enough.
Chad's roommate.
Put your fucking shoulders out.
Yeah, you've been there at least 6 months
and get through people.
You got to get in there.
Get where you got to go. Yeah. But anyway,
did you enjoy the subway scene?
I love the subway scene.
Okay, so that's probably one of the most because you don't know. Well, you do know because of the trailer which one Ghostface is on.
Yeah, is with Mindy.
Yeah, but each one of them you're fearful of it because. Each one of them are seeing different ghost faces.
True. And I liked their reveal of that particular ghost face. Because when she sees them all looking, blah, 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 this and that, and then on the other train, one's like...
Yeah, like beelining straight at them. Yeah,
He's just trying to get off the train.
He's just trying to get off. And you can't, if you've ever worn Halloween masks, it's kind of how you have to walk because you can't see your periffs.
But with Mindy... Just the one ghost face just sitting there. And first, back turn, doesn't even acknowledge her.
Yeah.
Like flickering also, I'm looking right at you.
Yeah. It was done very well.
And then I'm standing up.
Yep.
And then I'm standing closer.
Yep.
And then I'm gone.
But it was really cool is because, puts the hand on the mouth.
Yeah.
Gets her a bunch. And it was good. We'll get to...
And it makes sense. Crowded subway.
Yeah. It's Halloween time.
Drunk people probably passed out right in front of her. Just like passed out right there. And she looks over at them. They're like, I'm out.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, shit.
And that scene, the Ethan, whatever his name was.
Yeah, Chad's roommate.
Yeah, Chad's roommate.
I couldn't remember his name either.
Is on the train with her.
Bunch of people away.
But is also looking very suspicious.
Yeah, really, really slow to realize that she's no longer there. Gets her off the train. Obviously, calls for help, but she's been stuck pretty good. And so your assumption is that, just like in Scream 2, one of the Meeks got. It's following suit very well. And then you get. I think you realize. Oh, also, guys, Kirby from 4 is in 6. We got that one right. Jake was right.
Yeah.
Hayden Panettiere's character is in it. You also have the cop, the dad cop guy. He's a new character as well.
He was so weird.
Yeah, he was weird, and so like obviously we've talked good about the movie. There's some other things that happen, but you're gonna watch it. But I'd kind of like to get into some of the nittier grittier stuff we didn't like. So let's go ahead and get to the reveal.
Dun, dun, dun.
So just like in Scream 2, they had this whole plan that they're going to trap Ghostface, and the cops were all in on it. They were going to go to the lair. There was a door that you needed key cards in. They were going to trap him, and that was cool. Then you got Sam off wandering around, staring at Ghostface, feeling some connection with her dad's costume, which since 5 that she's got this weird vision of him. He's popped up a couple of times. And
Dr. Jekyll and Hyde shit she's got going on with her personality.
I don't understand it. I'm not a fan of it, but I can look past it. I don't like the flashbacks per se. Like if she was just like thinking about it and you could kind of see like her like wondering, that would be okay. I don't like the flashbacks. I don't. But I guess Sidney Prescott had a couple and she could like hear her mom's voice and stuff. So like whatever. Yeah. He's not a fan of that. I can look past it. But we're getting to the part that pisses me off the most. So there's some crazy stuff that happens in this whole scene. And then when you get to the part, Chad,
my man Chad
Meeks, another Meeks,
who's my favorite character, by the way.
He is the best of the new franchise. He is, minus his plot armor. He's the best because in Scream 5, I counted. We watched the video tonight of him getting stabbed at least 7 times in the stomach. At least 7. Not to mention the stabs that got him on the ground in the first place. Now, granted, that was a smaller killer. She might not have been as strong. That's fine. In this movie, he sacrifices himself.
Double teamed
to get stabbed a bunch. Also, we forgot Gail Weathers is in this movie.
Oh, yeah, Gail.
And she gets punched in the face by Tara. Well, it's cool because Sam misses because she dodges it. And then Tara comes in real quick. And she's like, ooh, you got me. She's like, yeah, you damn right I did. But also, Gail, right before the trap was about to be set, they realized that Gail was left on her own, and she's now got another boyfriend. She's living in a really nice place. She's like a host or an anchor on a news station. So clearly she's doing things right. But then she gets a Ghostface call. This is the first time they ever talked on the phone, which was super cool to hear. And then you get this great battle. The boyfriend just gets got. He walks off and just gets pulled into a room and gets thrown through a wall. That's fine. That's Scream. That's very Scream-esque. But then you have the Gail, the final girl, if you will. I mean, she's the only one left from the original because Sydney's living happily ever after wherever she is, and she deserved her happy ending. We all know why she's not in this movie, but in the movie, that's what they went with. Now, Gail does it well. She puts Ghostface on hold. She's got a good plan. She's got a gun nearby. She's laying down rounds perfectly. But unfortunately, you're Gail from the original movie. So you're going to get beat up and you get the best. She also gets stabbed a couple of times. And her last words were, tell Sidney he didn't get me. Right?
Yeah.
Like right along those lines. I might not be quoting it perfectly. Which
is weird.
It was a beautiful moment.
How?
Because she's like, don't let Ghostface know he got me. Like, I just died elsewhere maybe. I don't know. Yeah. But cool. Like, it's a moment. They've been through a lot together and she didn't want Sydney to know that Ghostface was her ultimate demise. Whatever. It's cool. It's a beautiful moment in the Scream franchise. Yeah. Right? So then fast forward to the reveal, right? You're all like, oh my God, who's it going to be? Me and Jake are thinking the whole time, who's it going to be, Jake?
Stu.
We thought it was going to be Stu Macher. But guess what? It's not. They just decided to cut and paste Scream 2 in a sense. Where it's the cop dad and his 2 kids. Who are his 2 kids, Jake?
Chad's roommate.
And the
Sam's
sister's roommates.
Yeah.
What? She faked her death, which I guess a cop could really help with that because he even says it like, yo, I had to do a sneak in a body, blah, blah, blah. And it was just like...
Which makes no sense to me.
Doesn't make any sense. You're a detective in the NYPD. This isn't Woodsboro anymore.
Yeah.
You can't get away with this bullshit-ass explanation for like how it happened.
Yeah.
This is the NYPD. These are some of the most, like, these cops have seen some shit. Woodsboro sees some shit, but only because of Ghostface.
Yeah.
These cops see shit every single day.
Yeah, there's no way you took another freshly dead body up into there, got her out without anyone seeing them. It makes no sense. But anyway, go ahead.
The thing that pisses me off, and I have to get this out because it really bothers me, is Scream 5 and Scream 6 have both led up very beautifully for Stu making his comeback. Now, through some research that I did find out that Matthew Lillard is very much in agreement on Neve Campbell not getting what she's due, which is fine. She has been the face of this franchise for damn near 30 years. She has been through it all, and if you're putting her on a bill, you should pay her accordingly. Him and Jamie Kennedy, which, whatever, Jamie Kennedy's character's actually dead, they're backing that. So they're kind of catfishing us fans in a sense because they're leading it up to be Stu. Obviously in Scream 5, it's at Stu's house.
Yeah.
And then in Scream 6, the killers are doing movements just like Stu. They're doing the knife wipes. They're super brutal. It makes sense. The size made sense. And you're thinking the whole time like it's going to be this. Then you literally just copy and paste basically Scream 2, where it's the parent. So you find out that the dad cop is actually the dad of Richie, and these are Richie's brothers and sisters, so it's legitimately just the family thing again.
Did not like that.
Did not like it. This movie was great up until the final act.
Which is something I did not like, that I know it goes along with something you say about how the ending
can severely change your opinion on a film. I'm not saying this is a bad movie. I'm not saying you will not enjoy it. Like I said, I'm probably going to be watching this every October until I die. Maybe. Maybe just not the last 20 minutes, right? But this isn't even the worst part yet for me. I don't like the killers, who they are. Then you get the moments of how are the killers going to be beaten. They are outnumbered. It's Tara and it's Sam. Because when you find out who it is, he shoots Kirby. He shoots Kirby.
So what I did not like also with that is the same exact thing. Him calling Sam and saying Kirby was fired 2 months ago.
Kirby was fired 6 months ago.
You supposedly went to high school with Kirby. Yeah. You know her, Woodsboro. And earlier with that, when the boyfriend wants to go with him and she's like, no. And she goes, well, you're not Woodsboro. What the fuck does that mean? You got to be Woodsboro, bro. You're in New York City.
Yeah, I know.
Being from Woodsboro means nothing.
I know.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But the fact that when he called Sam and just said to her the shit about Kirby, she believed it so quick.
So quick. Not acting like you haven't been through this
dude,
already.
It's okay to be
worrisome or like
don't just fucking turn
head
your
on
back
a swivel, but don't turn your back on
everyone that you know. Yeah. If he had said, hey, I think Tara's the killer, you would have accused her too?
Yep.
And that whole scene, first she thought it was Kirby.
Yep.
And then when Chad's roommate takes his mask
just like
off,
in Scream 1 with Meeks and Stu.
Yeah, and her first guess is fucking Mindy?
Mindy, yeah.
Why would you think Mindy is the killer?
I don't know, dude.
When you were attacked in your apartment with Mindy there.
Yep.
Her girlfriend was killed. You think it's still Mindy?
Yeah. That's a good way to break up with them.
Because she's not there? Okay, in that case, is it Chad?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like that. I don't like the killer reveal. Like you said, some of the cornier shit that starts, it's like the movie switched.
Yeah.
Into a really corny movie, and the dad cop guy, I can't remember his name, but it's cool. He starts overacting just like the mom did in Scream 2.
It's the exact same thing.
And they're all wearing the different masks. That's another thing we forgot. All the masks that have been left behind from the different Ghostface all had DNA from the original killers, which, all right, cool. No, not here nor there. Yeah, you find out that there's a whole shrine to them. Which, like they said in the movie, cops are easily paid off. They can get the stuff, but you now realize that there was an NYPD detective that transferred there for his daughter, quote unquote. And then you have this moment where they're both having to kill different ones, and you get of course, like Tara is like falling off of a railing, and is like, you got to let me go, kind of paying back to, I'm tired of you being my overly protective sister. Cool, whatever. Drops her, then stabs the guy in the mouth, like with the knife in the mouth
and turns it.
And she looks like she might have a little Loomis in her.
I don't understand. You guys aren't even.
They're not. Yeah, I know,
the
dude.
Same father.
I know. And then you get the final showdown between the cop guy and Sam, and she puts on the costume and then stabs him 87 times in the arms. And then I think who finally got the kill on him?
She did.
She did. I thought it was Kirby.
She stabbed him in the eye.
Oh, stabbed him in the eye. I thought who did Kirby get? Oh, the girl roommate ran back up because she wasn't completely dead yet. That's right. That was Ghostface always pops back up.
Yeah, and Sam killed her too.
Oh, I thought that Kirby did.
No, Kirby got stabbed just laying out on the ground.
I thought she popped up and shot somebody.
I'm not sure.
Then, okay, speaking of...
at the end, she pushed the TV.
Oh, push the TV on the guy. Yeah.
Another Stu
reference. So then you get my least favorite part of this entire 5 and 6. The plot armor, as you people that are fans of horror call this shit.
Chad.
No, you have Chad, you have Mindy, you have Kirby, you have Tara. All these people that have been sticked and poked a bunch of times, left for dead. Fucking Mindy runs up to the ambulance that Chad's somehow getting rolled out to and gives an opportunity to kiss Tara because they have a fling going on now.
Not a fan of that either.
The plot armor is so thick in this movie, you can get hit with a bomb and be okay. And it's like, so I was thinking to myself while I was thinking about covering this episode, and the thing that pisses me off so much about Scream is you've been dealing with the same style of killer. It's usually a knife, not typically a gun, but sometimes you get shot.
Yeah.
So sometimes they'll wear bulletproof vests.
Yeah.
In different movies, different characters have rocked bulletproof vests, right?
Correct.
So if you know you're about to go into a city of millions of people and you don't know how many Ghostface you're up against, you're not going to slide a piece of sheet metal down your shirt just to protect your belly, maybe a fucking textbook. So if somebody's sneaking up on you to stab you in the stomach, you have something to protect you. That thought process never crosses any of their minds.
No.
Why? Why not?
Because the
you
movie
have these
protects them.
You have these crazy, outlandish. You're the killer. Instead of taking 5 minutes to stuff something into your shirt because you know they're going to try to stab you in the gut. It happens in every movie.
You know, when you're part of the core 4, you're protected. Also, this same plot armor has protected.
I know it's protected. Gale,
all of them. Gale,
Dewey,
Sydney, Dale.
Yeah, I know.
Because,
by the way,
point,
Gale didn't die. She still has her plot armor.
Of course not.
It just pisses me off, man. It does a disservice to the fans.
So you think if Gale died, that would have made it better for you?
Gale, Mindy, and Chad, yes. It would have helped a little bit. I still don't like the reveal of the killers and who they were because they catfished me into believing it was Stu the entire fucking movie.
It makes sense.
But I would have been a little bit better.
It would have made sense for Mindy to die to me, and not because of her character. Just how it happened.
She is more the Randy Meeks of the group.
It would make sense. If you're doing that, the shit like Halloween did, you're pretty much remaking the same shit all over again.
Yep.
It would make sense for her to die. So I thought she was dead.
Because at least in Halloween Kills, the daughter, what's her name, gets killed. At least we had that.
Yeah.
We had Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter. Karen died.
Yeah.
So at least we had that. Not saying that the Halloween franchise did anything justice, but Scream just really missed something that they could have done very easily. Whatever reasons it may have been, I get it, but I'm not going to be perfectly happy with it.
I think what worries me now is if we're doing this whole remaking previous movies thing, Scream 3 is terrible.
Yeah. That's
just like Halloween 3 wasn't very good. Halloween Ends wasn't very good.
Yeah.
We're going to get a Scream 7 that's just dog shit?
Nah, see, if they just answer my phone call, I have it planned out. All right. So if you guys remember Scream 3, the director had made the reason for people being killers was all him. So in Scream 7, Stu is coming back. Nev Campbell is coming back. And we're going to get the ending we need. Stu has orchestrated everything from 5 and 6. Yeah. 5 and 6, right? That's why they all do movements like him. They all learn to kill like him. That's why he's been hinted at so much. That's why he's a favorite of certain people. He's going to come back and he's finally going to get to kill his best friend's girl that he wanted to kill since the beginning of time. It's going to be full circle, ladies and gentlemen. Stu gets to kill Sydney. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to solve all of our problems. And guess what? The Scream franchise dies right then and there. Whatever happens from that point on shouldn't exist. I don't care about these new characters. All I want is for Stu to kill Sydney.
I mean,
and for it all to make sense.
That's what I care about Chad.
Chad's gonna die.
No.
He's gonna get stewed.
If Chad didn't die in 6, he's not gonna die.
He's not gonna be able to walk. If Dewey had a limp, all these other people are running around perfectly fine, getting broken ankles, stabbed in hands, stabbed in stomachs. So irritating.
Chad's good.
Chad's fine. He's only been stabbed in the torso 48 times since the first time he came into the movie.
He was stabbed in the shoulder, the chest, stomach.
They didn't stop. They were still poking him when they were running off.
Yeah.
It sucks, man. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the part that I'm waiting for because you rated this a 9 last week.
I did.
So where do you stand today with Scream 6 on a scale of 1 to 10?
After seeing Scream 6 twice.
Yeah, he saw it twice. I only seen it once.
On a scale from 1 to 10, I hate to say it, but I think it's like a 7.5.
Yep. So I rated this a 7.4 last week. I'm going to drop that down to a 7.2, but still right there. We're right there together. Yeah. Right there close. I was the closest in my guesstimate, though.
You were.
So, fun. So thank you guys for always tuning into the J Squared Horror Podcast. Big shout out to all of our supporters. Jeff Balance, who does our design work. Lucky Riggs, who does our intro and our outro music. Trademark Printing, who does our printing needs. Next week, if everything goes according to plan, we are going to have the director of a short film on YouTube called He Comes to Kill as our first interviewee ever in the existence of the J Squared Horror Podcast.
Which is very exciting.
We are so excited. So be tuned, stay on Instagram, social media to keep up with all of that. If it all goes to plan, that's what we're doing next week. If not, we'll come up with something because sometimes technology gets the best of us.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's the news we have coming up right now. So yeah, I'm Josh.
And I'm Jake.
You guys have a great week. And remember, it's hip to be squared.